because last week it didn't.
Looks like it. Now you should be able to minimize it. I think you have to wait till it actually...
I never minimized it last time.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I'm assuming that everybody can hear us. If you can't, go ahead and do something in your video, since we see video from all of you.
Wave around.
Yeah. Excellent. All right, so I know the number one question on everybody's mind is it Matric or is it Patrace, right? But we have to do some conlangy stuff, including... what was it? Was it this? That was this. Hold on a sec. Nope, wrong way.
So I'm also loving the background knocking noise that I hope everyone can hear. It's a unit close to ours, not even next to ours, just close to ours, is being renovated, and literally sounds like they're pounding on the walls, and it's not on our wall.
Yeah.
So I hate to know what the unit next to it sounds like.
Yeah, it's wild. So it's like the unit right next door to us that we share a wall with, just normal living stuff. It's the one next to that. But it really sounds like it's right on top of us. It's pretty bizarre.
And no one else can hear it. That's unfortunate.
No one else can hear it but me. What was that?
We wanted to share it with you all.
It was the sound less traveled. So, hello, Logan. And let us go ahead. Oh, Patrick, we can see you at all times. Let's go ahead and take care of the poll, because I think it's a short one. I'm going to double check the numbers to make sure that we don't have to go for it. But
surely you all can hear the saw.
Yeah. Okay, so
that saw is so loud.
What's 40% of 15? Is it like 7? Yeah, 40% of 15 has got to be 7, right?
I mean, 50% of 15 is 7.5.
Yeah, so it's probably 7. And so then that's...
They can hear the saw. Okay.
7 to 5.
Ooh.
So all it needs to do is make up 2 votes. It's got 1 there, and... Oh.
Mateus,
okay.
I'm trying to read what you said. And, like, I'm getting little bits of it, but oh my goodness. Okay.
I got to do some math real quick here.
It had to be a whole number because you're counting voters.
Yeah.
I understand what's happening now.
Oh. 40% of 15 is 6.
And that makes a difference, doesn't it?
That makes an enormous difference.
Dino Nid also helped us, as did Patrick's. That's right, I did it again. I keep adding an S, like your name ends in an X or something.
6 plus 5, yeah. All right. So then for this one... Yeah. Okay. The poll is decided. I thought there was going to be a tie, but that was because I misapplied the first number there. So let's go ahead and look at the poll. In case you missed it, that was a mail drop.
It was a very quiet one, though.
It was a respectful mail drop. So this poll, we were going to talk about punctuation. And the idea was that the Beavers were going to start with their writing system, but they weren't necessarily going to have their own punctuation system. They were going to borrow it, perhaps. Original punctuation was an option. So basically, we gave you 3 options here. One is that the Beavers would have their own punctuation system, which we would design. The other one is that they would borrow Topathla's punctuation system, which was sparse, if you'll recall.
And based on tail imagery, am I correct?
Yeah, sure was. Yeah. And the idea here is that the Beavers then, this would say something about the relationship they have with the opossums, which is the Beavers, of course, were going to be friendly with the mice, but it wasn't like that it was going to be an exclusive relationship. They'll have, the Beavers, I see them as kind of a neutral presents that would have things in common with the mice. They would have things in common, a building, have things in common with the opossums, and with the rabbits, and also with the cats.
Dogs.
No. And sorry. And so I was thinking geographically, we went to all this work to situate the rabbits geographically, but we haven't done the same with the others. We really need to get to that. But geographically, in my mind, we're pushing eastward. And so the opossums are east of the rabbits, and the beavers are east of everybody.
Okay.
And so I figured that the opossums might have been first contact for the beavers. And so, anyway, so that's why Tapahla was an option, and it was also why Wokuthishu was an option. And I guess...
I do want to say that this poll doesn't matter because Patrick missed it, so we just need to cancel everything. It's out. Don't Mateus's votes count for Patrick now? That is true, but did Mateus vote?
Did Mateus remember to vote?
We need to get that confirmation. I'm gonna say no.
Mateus immediately saying, "Imagine remembering to vote." Anyway, so the idea is with the opossum. So with the beavers, right? The original punctuation system is that they do it on their own. With the opossums, it was first contact, and with the mice, it's like the closest affinity. And so the question was, how were people going to vote? So the first one out was original punctuation, but it was close. All three, it was a clear 1, 2, 3, but each one got a lot of votes. So original was the first out. So it was between Tapahla and Wokuthishu. So Jesse, which one did you want to win?
Can you scroll down to Wokuthishu again? Because I haven't looked at this for a week, and I think I remember what my preference was, but yeah. Listen, I liked Wokuthishu's better than Tapahla's, and so if we were going to borrow something, I wanted it to be from there.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought I had decided, but I just needed to remind myself what that looked like because I totally blanked on what punctuation we had in Wokuthishu when you asked me. But that was my preference.
And obviously, I mean, you know what our patrons think of you, so you won't be surprised that
it lost.
lost.
I'm guessing, quite honestly, if Tapahla didn't carry the day, I'm going to be kind of surprised because there is an affinity for Tapahla among our followers that I don't have. And so it's a language we created. It's there.
I think,
and yet so many people are like, it's my favorite, and I'm like,
I think it matches the entire aesthetic of the opossums very well, in that you hear about our animals, right? And it's like, rabbits, aw, mice, aw, cats, aw, dogs, aw, opossums. What?
Read Mateus's comment. I won't say it out loud for the adult rating of a show.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's good. Anyway, so yes, indeed, Tapahla won, I believe, by one vote. One vote. Makes our job easier, and it makes it, I think, at least somewhat likely that this might be the last episode of the season. If not, it'll be next week, and that is going to be it.
I do want to clarify, Jonathan, if I ever said I love all my languages equally, I'm talking about my languages. Our languages, I can rank them.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, babe.
Poor Jake, though, because, patrons, of course, get to have their name in the language. And Jake with the ja. Tapahla was it.
Yeah.
There's been nothing else.
You think I don't know? You think I don't know that?
What do you mean, Chessie?
Exactly. Okay. I missed the reference, Jonathan, but that is also nothing new for me. As you all know, I quite often miss references.
Yeah.
And then later David has to explain.
Yeah, I assumed Jesse would know everything I did because we were born mere months apart. But man, those 4 months sure made a difference.
Nothing to do with location and or access to mainstream media, which I did not have.
How many radio stations did you get down there?
We got at least 3.
There you go. Huh?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
And
It's
of
not
those
bland.
3, my parents would only listen to 2 of them.
What was the third? What was the renegade third?
Oh, that was Y107. That was what I started listening to when I had my own radio, because that was what I thought at the time was rock, but now that I look back on it, it was solidly soft adult pop. You know, like that sort of like
Baby,
vibe
baby.
yeah. And so it wasn't as like hard rock as I thought.
For a minute, baby, I'm so glad you're mine. That's a good song.
It is a good song, and Amy
is a
Grant was,
bop.
of course, something I listened to a lot, being a Christian artist. So,
Yeah.
you know, that was allowed in the house.
And Amy Grant, of course, real crossover artist, because I know Amy Grant because she was played on the rap station here in Southern California. Consistently.
Hey, listen, Carl only had 2 in Northeast Alabama.
Oh.
So we were ahead of the curve. And then there were more depending on where you drove. Oh, Sandy Patty. Yes, I had to introduce David to Sandy Patty.
Yeah.
David had no idea who that was. And I was like, love in any language. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, Sandy Patty.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So she played this song for me, and I had a very interesting moment because, of course, I'm used to people badly pronouncing not just our conlings, but just languages on TV shows. And so I hear what I think is "I love you" in Arabic, and I'm like, how did she get that pronunciation? And then I look it up, and it was Hebrew.
Oh my gosh, Carl's been to 4 of her concerts. Nice. My first concert ever was DC Talk. That will tell you who I listened to.
Yeah,
as a youth.
that dates and places you a lot.
Yeah, just a lot of things.
Yeah, that was. I think that was like the hugest thing for Christian pop rock. They actually had
That was so hard rock. I mean, they rocked hard.
They had a music video that was actually played on MTV for like a day.
Was it Jesus Freak?
It might have been
Or
the music video was a parody of something like a Sally Jesse Raphael.
that. I'll have to think about that. Because I haven't seen their videos as much. Because
I know.
I didn't have cable, and so but I have seen them, but just not as much. So anyway,
it was like one of them was like the host, and there was an audience, and
ooh, Evanescence is awesome.
very much a 90s thing. I don't think this happens anymore, but like daytime talk shows like that were much more in the public consciousness back then.
Yeah.
Donahue, Sally Jesse, even things like what's his face, Jerry Springer, and others like that. They're not much of a thing anymore. I think it's because people don't really watch network television as much anymore.
Patrick, the other song that could have made it was Colored People. That's the other song that was bigger on the album
All right,
than other places.
We're looking it up. Gosh darn it.
But anyway, so David's going to find that answer, and because I can't do anything because my screen, once I move off this document, you see everything I'm looking at, whereas
Oh my
David...
God. They actually went to the university founded by Jerry Falwell. Oh my God.
What university is that?
Liberty.
I don't even know that.
Yeah. Looking. Maybe I can search for the word video.
This is... David, do we even know what won for the poll? Like,
no, Tapahlawan. I said it several times. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were just riffing off of me saying obviously everyone loves Tapahlev, so they voted for it, and I didn't know if you were being serious when you said it did. So okay. So just making sure.
Anyway, all right, so that's done. Oh,
Did you find the video?
It was going to take too much work because I wasn't seeing the stills
Just
that
right
I was
away.
hoping
Okay.
I would see.
We'll solve that mystery later.
Yeah.
I do want to say though, because I saw Jake mentioning their internship and needing to get familiar with more languages, and so thinking Duolingo. And yes, I know you're serious, but like today. I was posting the same sentence I had used yesterday for Volchanan, but fixing the error I made. And it was only when I was writing about the example sentence that I realized my word for languages, tuo, is when you actually add any prefixes to it, becomes duo. And I was like, and duo means languages, like duo the owl. But it came from the proto-form tova. So it's not like that was a purposeful thing that I did. It was literally as I'm writing about duo, I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like I made this word based on the owl.
There was something else I wanted to share. Just a board game thing real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just...
Sova is owl in Yiddish, and then Tova is languages in my language. Oh, I love it.
All right. Also,
Miles like all of the diphthongs. I did Matisse, and I think of you every time I do.
Also, we're being more. We're trying for the moment to be more active on Blue Sky. I'm Daedalus, my usual handle. Jesse is Quoth the Linguist, and then we also have LangTime Studio.
With videos that are very entertaining for Lexember.
Oh yeah, that's right. We started Lexember videos, and we were. It was George Corley who mentioned this. I think it was either George or it was also somebody from our Patreon saying how we should do short stuff. So we did a whole bunch of shorts for every single word of Lexember, and so they're all like less than 60 seconds. You can give those a look. But I wanted to mention something, so I need to put on Safari again. So going way back, especially those who follow the Patreon live streams, what we've been doing is coming up with character names. So not the names for the classes or things like that, but the names of the actual characters and their identities for the game. And so the rabbits were done a long time ago. The rabbits were also done during what I call Savala or board game version 2.0. We've been designing 3.0. 2.0 would be the one that folks like Jake and Bibleridian and Jason are familiar with. That featured a very complex magic system that required a lot of time to set up before you actually started playing the game. As I go into the 3.0 version, I've been trying to reduce that quite a bit. And the way that I did it, it kept the magic system but changed the relationship that magic users have to it. Now magic users have one element that they are proficient in, and as they get more experienced, they can gain proficiency in a second adjacent element, or at the top level, all three of the elements, their main and the adjacent ones on either side, because the 6 magic schools form a hexagon or a circle. Anyway, because of that, going back to the ones that I've been calling casters, they were originally kind of based on mages from World of Warcraft. The 3 elements I gave them were plasma, gas, and liquid, which means that the middle one is actually gas. Originally, I thought of them as more fire-based, but it doesn't work based on how it's spelled out, and so it was like their actual main ability is actually gas. So going back to our rabbits, the lore here is that there was one rabbit who decided to leave home and go study with the cats and study the cat-type magic, because the rabbits only do one type of magic. And that rabbit had a little sister. This little sister wanted to follow in her older sister's boots and also went to study with the cats, and kind of left early, came back, and so the class name that she was given was, they kind of called her Firepaw because she was the only one that could use fire magic. Well, that changed because she's a tier 2 one, and based on that, the only element she would have access to is actually air magic, which is kind of funny because it's a secondary element for the other magic users that are rabbits. But anyway, consequently, it didn't make sense for her to be called a Firepaw anymore. Jesse tried to rescue it by just saying, well, maybe it was just kind of a nickname, but I decided I wanted to change it.
Did you change it to Windpaw?
I changed it to Swiftpaw.
Swift. Okay. What is Swift?
It was not really swift. It is wind, but like that was the idea. Yes, it was Windpaw, right? But the idea was like it was swift. Also, going way back, I don't know how many people remember this. We had one word for paw in Ingala, and then we created a new word after they became upright to refer specifically to their walking ones.
Yeah.
But the old word for paw meant any of the four. And so that was where the compound started, because the word for wind was yashu. You put that together with older pada. I decided to lop off the final ah, even though it was part of the root, to make pajashu.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a nice.
But ja?
Because it is T-I-A.
Wow, and it's not cha.
It would be if it were at the beginning of the word.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I remember a lot of T-I vowel sequences that came out as cha. But okay. I will take it.
Yeah. Makes me want to kind of look that up because we have Chechesi, but I think they don't. No, that one's because it's chess.
Yeah. That was like some crazy reduplication magic that we had to write out rules for like 8 times.
All right. So that. Anyway, just wanted to explain that.
Oh, and Jake, so sorry we missed Let's Have a Booba yesterday, but we were knee deep in birthday celebrations.
Oh, yeah.
And so we were out literally all afternoon and then the evening.
Yeah. Meridian had a fantastic birthday yesterday, and I'm so delighted. She hasn't even had her party yet, which is Saturday, which is a karaoke party, and I'm super excited. She got her karaoke machine, and it is honestly really cool. Anyway.
Let's have a booba. It's what Jake and Miles do every Wednesday at 1:30 Pacific. Woo! They have a Conlang live stream, and you can join in on YouTube. And then, of course, if you're awake on Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. Pacific time, you can watch George through Conlangery Tongues and Runes. Is it a totally separate channel, or is it like within the Conlangery channel, right?
Yeah, it's within
like you can
Conlangery.
access it if you look at Conlangery on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, yes.
All right. Call her Prime Meridian again. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to create our punctuation system. And so, as a little reminder...
Oh yeah, Logan is doing daily Beowulf postings.
That's new.
Yeah. Because Logan had mentioned that, not doing Luxembourg videos, but you are doing videos, and yeah, there's a daily Beowulf.
What's the URL or the handle or the channel?
That's a great question. I just see it on Blue Sky, and so I haven't paid attention to what link.
Everybody's just throwing jokes out. We're trying to be helpful.
Hey, Sotan. Once Logan responds to let us know how to find those videos. If you search Logan's name, so just search Logan. Is it pronounced Kersley or Kearsley?
I think Kersley. That's the way I always have it. Oh, great. Logan's YouTube handle is just Logan Kersley. But the last name is spelled Kearsley.
Yes.
Also, George is saying you should have ignored my advice and made another channel for Tongues and Runes, which is funny because as I was just thinking about it, it was like, oh yeah, George decided to do Tongues and Runes on Conlangery. That was really smart. I didn't think that was my idea. I still think it's a smart idea, George. I think you did the right thing. All right. Anyway, I wanted to share, as we're getting started, just a reminder what Tapahla is. We have this mark for the beginning of a sentence, and there was more punctuation at the earlier stage, but of course they would have come into contact later. And so we're going to have a beginning of the sentence marker for our beavers that's based on this shape. So then we have a period, which looks like this, and a question mark. The original one, remember, it was inverted, but when the inversion in the modern Tapahla script just has a diacritic now. And then this comma, which is just kind of like a dash. So those, I think, are going to be pretty easy to create. And we'll create those all right now, but I wanted you to see what I was working with before I started.
I mean, I will say, in the spirit of the beaver language orthography, those are shapes that I think will be easily navigable.
Yeah.
More easily. Because I also think you could straighten up some of those lines and, you know, make them more blocky. And thank you, Logan. I'll remember that. I just momentarily, like, Kersley was how I wanted to say it, and then suddenly I was like, have I been saying it wrong this whole time?
All right, so let's start with the replacements. Punctuation.
And I'm not incorrect, right? These are our last
numbers.
Numbers.
I was hoping we could bang them out today. In fact, if you want to start...
Which is the base 10, right?
Yeah, it's base 10, so we need 10 glyphs. If you want to start throwing out some ideas, or people in the chat, think about how we want to do our numbers. We don't actually have... we also don't have words for all of our numbers, 0 through 9 or 10.
No.
We have some.
No,
we have some.
We have 4 of them. And so I will keep those pulled up, but I do want to think about how we might do them while you actually create the glyphs.
So period by period beaver.
Yeah, where is Bubba? May not be able to join us today.
Is there anything else? Let's do exclam too. And then let's just grab some other stuff. What's the upside down exclamation point called? Anybody remember what its fancy name is?
The upside down exclamation point?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exclam down. Good. We'll stick with that for right now. We need a lot more things for the comma. Comma, hyphen, colon, semicolon. I'm also going to do asterisk. Dash. And then is it called N dash, M dash in this thing? I don't remember. I forget it. Did we ascertain if they can hear the saw?
They did, yeah.
Yeah, they can hear the saw. Very sorry. I'll go ahead and do underscore 2. And by comma beaver. And then for the beginning of a sentence, I want to use the slash, actually. I'm going to use slash and backslash. Make sure that slash is what it's actually called. I think it's down here.
I have an idea that I'm very excited about, and I hope that when you see it, you're like, I love it. And if you aren't, then
yeah,
it's whatever.
I'm also going to do all the quotes as commas. We're going to go Irish style. Quote double. What are they all called? Quote double. Quote single. Ugh, I don't want to remember all the rest. I'll add them as I remember them. And now we need the questions. So question and question down, I believe. Yeah. So question down by question beaver. All right. Let's get those glyphs generated. And then we're going to make those green. I'm going to start with this. This might not be final. I just want to see what it looks like. Okay.
Okay. This took more brain effort than I had hoped.
Set side bearings to 0 for now. Okay, we're going to start with that. I hate that. I think that looks terrible.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh, how awful. I hate that. That's going to get killed. But for right now we're going to keep it there. We're going to put it up there. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try this. Oh, rigged. Oh, congratulations. It's not even thinging for me.
What thingy?
You know. I think, yeah, George already had a response there. All right. No! God!
You okay over there?
Wish I was okay. Okay. By the way, we don't need these anymore. I'm gonna put those in yellow. Finally. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I think that's pretty good. Okay, we're gonna make that shorter.
Okay. And then I'm ready, when you're done with that, to show you my idea with some options.
You want me to put it on the big screen?
Woo! It is. Messy.
That'd be cool. It's just a old drawing of Lionel Messi holding up fingers.
But I put it on blank page so you don't have to worry about covering things up.
Yeah, okay, here we go. I hope my thing works. It didn't. It didn't. So
help me.
all right. All right. Jesse, would you like to explain your system?
Well, the original on top is sort of like the inspiration for where it came from, sort of like how you can, stack logs against each other to create sort of a triangular structure of support.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would get the 4 bases and then put a log across the top as like a top.
Yeah.
And so that creates a structure of 5. And then stacking on top of that would create 10. From there, because we have a lot more straight lines, and I think it would get way too horrible for this font to do any sort of diagonals with 4 coming off. I created 1 through 4 as sort of like these connected bars. And then 5 would create a bar going across the top.
Okay.
And then 2 options for 6 through 10 where you would have like an underneath bar representing that 5th one, and then you're stacking on top. Right? So like an underbar, and then on top you would get 1, 2, and so on. Sort of like in kind of reversing it just to like create a sort of structure. The other idea was potentially a diacritic where it's like it's 1 plus another row on top. And so that bottom option 2 is a diacritic on top of all of them.
Yeah, no, I really like the underline. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think let's do that.
So it's effectively also like our tally mark system where it's like you get the 4 and then the 5th. Because when you have a base 10, I think 5 is of course, a nice halfway mark to...
The only question is what to do with 10 and beyond that. Obviously, in our base 10 system, we have 1 and then it's followed by 0. You had a character here for 10.
Yeah.
So would you like to elaborate on that?
Effectively, it would be like the Roman X, where you have a unique 10, and so 11 would be 10, that mark for 10 in the 10 spot, and then a mark for 1 in the 1 spot.
Yeah. If we were to do that, we'd need something for hundreds. So, for example, this is actually what I did for High Valyrian. Right now, your thing is on the screen. Here, let me see
when you say your thing, what do you
mean? Let me see if the internet will.
Okay. It would also. Out. I mean, in this way, like to form, for instance, 20, you would have to write 10 twice. So again, like Roman numerals, like you do get into this. Numbers can become cumbersome because you've got to represent the 10s somehow.
That's not how I did it.
And so we could come up with a completely unique glyph that is effectively like a 0, and that would allow you to put like a 1 plus a 0 to create
Seriously?
10.
Nobody on the internet has. All right, you know what? Open up High Valyrian on yours.
Did you blink me out?
No, it's a. No, I didn't. Go ahead.
Otherwise, anything I do shows up. Okay.
Yeah, Magpie. Effectively, that is what I did for High Valyrian, and we're going to show you.
In a moment, because it's got to download it. It's kind of an extensive document.
Also, I assume you've updated it to the recent font?
No. You update the font a lot. And until you tell me that I need to open something in High Valyrian.
I mean, I updated it once, and that was recently. I added like 20 new glyphs.
I don't know, babe. I need to look. Okay, but I need to go to numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Just a second. Oh, here we go. Okay, now on screen is the number system of High Valyrian.
Okay. All right, so scroll down a little bit. You see we have glyphs for 1 through 9, And then you see we have a new glyph for 10. Go up to the top now. And so you see 10 and 1 is 11, 10 and 2 is 12, and so on. Now go to 20. You went too far. 20 is a 2 followed by a 10, 21 is 2, 10, 1, and so on. And what this means is when you get to 100, you need a new glyph. And then you have 200, 201, and so on. Pyris, which is 1,000, is 10 followed by 100. And then 10 to the 4th, which is 10,000, is 100, right? And then we have 3 of them for 10 to the 6th, and then you have another glyph for just...
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
And I could definitely see, once you get that glyph for 100, it's, at that point.
So,
we would have enough.
any ideas for the glyph for 100?
Off the top of my head, not yet, but...
We'll be thinking about it. So I think that we're going to need that. You can go back to, you can close that and just go back to Nulisü. But I can create that system. I'm gonna do these punctuation guys
Can you
first.
remind me what our glyph for damn came out looking like?
Wasn't that the one that was just an I with serifs and then a midline?
May have been. Because with the notion that these are logs being stacked, the notion of 100 could be a full dam, where it's just hundreds of logs. It takes 100 to make a dam. I don't know that would ever be confusing, where it's like, we have this word form or syllable form that could either be the syllable or could be the number 100. But I mean, when we write a 1, at least in the way that Americans write 1, tend to write 1 anyway, it could be an L or it could be a capital I.
Yeah,
and we seem to get along just fine.
Is that who is that with a notch?
Miles had a similar idea.
And then I do have an idea about if we did that, and that would be that's actually P or phi, right? And then do we have that with a notch? I think that we don't actually. No, we do. That's coup. Coup is that with a notch. Okay. Just writing things down.
And what was the I with no other marking? Like just the serif I?
I don't see one.
Did we end up marking it? So like there's no just bar, vertical line connecting?
No.
Then that could be 100.
Okay. I'm gonna keep that in mind.
And based off the tiny screen that I see, I also don't see just a barred I. And barred I, not the IPA barred I. The I with the top and bottom.
That should be a D&D show. Bard Eye for the mage guy.
But it would of course be BARD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That goes out to 700.
For the other numbers, did you have any sort of like
700
restrictions or forms that you wanted us to be sensitive to if we just started brainstorming roots for 5 through 10?
This is really where I would defer to Bubba, were he here. But what can one do? I don't know. If you have ideas for lexical forms or little subsystems, for example, if you want to be inspired by this number system, where like it appears that
that 5 is the
5 is when you start
special.
adding on. 4 is kind of the full house. What do we have? 1 through 3.
4.
We have 1 through 4. Okay. What's 4?
Thaki.
Oh, so it has a meaning.
I think it was Paw.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we need just a little line ski.
No, Thaki is tooth.
Yeah, because they have the 4 big teeth.
How many little fingers do they have on their paw?
I think they have 5. That's why we did base 10.
Because then 5 could be the word for paw. Mav.
Yeah, we use that a lot. Remember, it's mo, but I suppose it could be mo, but mo. Or it could just be mo, and it stays.
Well, I mean, when we reduce it, it becomes mo.
Yeah.
Would 5 need to be reduced?
One would assume, but I suppose that it need not.
Thaki wasn't reduced.
I suppose it was not.
However,
It's got a weak fricative in there.
fair. So let's come up with other words for 5.
Could be
Yes.
based off of build or add-on.
I'm curious to know. Where? Okay, so another idea is because it's also an important image, or rather important imagery in their flag. You see their fists holding hammers in their flag. Fist could be 5 because it's holding them all together.
I like that idea.
We don't have a word for fist, and so we could create it to sound nice with the system. And we could also be sensitive to, if we want it to reduce, that's, put some weak sounds in it. If we don't want it to reduce, then make it very Thaki-ish.
I like that idea. 1200.
Yeah. Well,
good.
yes. Jake is correcting you, David.
What?
Real conlingers, I'm adding real in there for you, Jake. Use the technical term, frequicative. I still think of that, like that's now my go-to way of thinking about it. And it's so hard whenever I'm like trying to say it for real outside of LangTime universe. God, Patrick, you're just showing you missed that season. Like, it's not just a stream. You missed the season. You missed the movement. Oh, Patrick. God, it's like you were born in Missouri in the 80s. Goodness. Yeah, it's, I had a typo of the mouth, which is otherwise called a mispronunciation. Where I tried to say weak fricative in a stream, and that was in Ingala. Like, that was very early. And so, like, season 1. And very early in season 1, I think. So we were doing the sound changes for Ingala. So, of course, it was, like, first 6 episodes or something. and it came out as frequicative. And ever since then, it's just like, as I try to say it out loud, I just say it that way, and I've got to be very careful not to do that when I'm like trying to do non-LangTime things. I feel like so Magpie saying that they thought it was Tpachla, but I really think it was earlier than that. Like, I feel like it's been in all of our documents. Do you have a memory? I know I where I was streaming from, so it had to be.
I didn't think it was early enough for Angalo.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
wow. Okay, it may have been Tpachla. Never mind. I don't know. Somebody who can open files without showing all of their things on screen, go search for it. Let me know. Danielle is pointing out that if we have another CopyCon, then there will have been an earlier CopyCon. So, then we all get to be in the know.
I need a...
Yeah.
Does this all show up on screen?
The top looks a little cut off.
Oh, I see. I just want some opinions on the rendering of the question mark. So
is that, excuse me, it's the final one, right?
Yeah, hold on a sec. So if I can put the if you look right here, what I'm circling in red, like put a dot there. This is essentially what we are basing this on in Tpachla. Basically, the writing line goes in the middle. When you get to the end of it, you just come down with the tail there, and you put this little diacritic on top of it to let you know that it's a question mark. The period just looks like that. All right. And so what we're looking at here is ways of rendering this kind of bizarre, very unique diacritic in Tpachla. One way is to put a notch. The other one is to put an overline. And I just love opinions on that. We're going to do a little straw poll here. What should our question mark look like? Let's call this a vertical line on period, top, or over line, bottom. By the way, are we going to do a Biblaridian check-in?
Surely Biblaridian is here and voting.
Yeah. Of all bibs, the Laridian is my favorite. Biblaridian goes into like a, a shellfish boil. They hand him a bib and he says, No thanks, I brought my own. Yeah, I think that's pretty... Looks like that was my sense too, so I'm glad to get a little confirmation there.
Why would LexRG be giving me... No, this is right. It's saying no syllable can start with a K?
Which language?
Nulisü.
That's a little odd.
I don't know what to do with this.
Oh, that's working fine for me. Like I just put in kun and maka as protoforms.
Put in a voiceless angma after the K. I did KA voiceless angma.
Kana?
The handy dandy keyboard that I created for us doesn't work for LexRG. It puts the voiceless dot above the angma, and LexRG can't recognize that.
Oh, well, that's a fault of LexRG. We should add that as a potential variant, because like you can do either.
When I next am not on screen, I can attempt to log in because I should have access, and I had tested it and it seemed to work, but I should have access to the behind the scenes rules, and I can see if I can add that as a...
That would be nice. All right.
As a thing. I don't know how to do it as a variant because they can't be defined the same.
Or just add a respell rule.
I think I can just add it to the deromanizer.
Yeah, that's no problem. I'm going to start creating the numbers. Recall we need a 0 and we need a 100. But also
I like my idea for damn being 100. If you
right. We need a 0. We need a 0. I want to test one more thing. Where did I put that? Z.accent.
I would need to see a... Well, and Magpie's asking, do we need a 0? We may just want to have one on hand for when we say, like, there are 0 sticks.
These are the beavers. We definitely need a 0 for them.
Even if they aren't even if the 0 is not used for, say, 10, 20, 100?
Yep.
Okay. One idea based on this fact that I'm trying to look into forms to create for fist, meaning 5. An open palm up could be 0 because it's like, look, I got nothing. Like you're just empty-handed. Or it could come from a little beaver doing this.
You want to sketch what that might look like?
I really wish I could.
That's too much. Another little straw pull for the initial mark.
Like that to come up.
Remember this one just basically looked almost exactly like the top one, but it's a question of what fits with our system.
Can you zoom in?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. All right, so the initial mark, gotcha. So the top two are definitely more obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I have another idea. All right, everybody. Okay, good. That was my instinct as well. Everybody's saying the bottom. I want to throw in one more option for folks to consider.
Okay, and then I have some 0 options for you with potential forms. I think some of these will not be as wonderful as others.
All right, one more poll. So this is basically taking the thing and just kind of straightening it and not really honoring the bend of it, just kind of changing it up. Every so often I just get the Biblerigin song stuck in my head. Biblerigin, walking down the street, Biblerigin, the guy I'd like to meet, Biblerigin. Oh, greetings to you, Juno. A Grammarly greeting. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, Patrick. Yeah, so the initial mark is just the beginning of the sentence. And I think in this Beaver orthography, it's pretty superfluous, but it's not about functionality. It's about the fact that it was borrowed from, the Tapahla writing system, where it is necessary because of how the midline works. And so they just borrowed it because they're like, well, you got it. Thank you. I think I feel a lot better about that. And that means, guess what, Jesse? We are done with our punctuation system.
Okay, nice. I just accidentally recreated the top of our LangTime Studio thing for an option for you. As one of I've got 3 different options there for you.
On the top?
The very bottom is the one that was the accidental LangTime Studio.
Oh my goodness, alright, I gotta show this.
And then yes, we can celebrate, but I just wanted to show you the options here for 0.
So yeah, this is what Jesse recreated, the little TV antenna on our LangTime Studio thing. But look at this beaver.
He's just like, none. So open paw, a beaver going like none,
Mm-hmm.
and then the bottom one is like if you're chewing down a tree, and then it hits the ground and it just busts into pieces, and it's like, well, now I don't even have a log because it busted. And so it's like this idea that it breaks all apart and you're left with nothing. And so I was trying to draw like, well, what are the lines from that sort of like, and suddenly I've got a TV antenna.
That's very cute. All right.
Okay, babe. Celebration time. Get your Copico on.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
Exactly, Patrick. 0 is rotten old tree.
Copico. You've got nothing left. You always have Copico. Oh, this flavor is so good. Oh.
You know what else is a metaphor, Patrick? David always throws his trash at me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a metaphor in that.
This is a very boxy script. I have to say, this thing ended up looking a lot more like the option that didn't win for when we were doing orthography styles. The only difference is that one, its main feature was going to have 2 very different thicknesses. Even though it was kind of this style, there were going to be lines of 2 different thicknesses, and these are all uniform thickness. Think of it as a compromise.
Yeah.
Oh, now here's the real poll. Bubba's going to be so mad that he missed this.
You know, I want to send out a tiny complaint to Apple. And that's that I have my computer on Do Not Disturb.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. I'm not getting pop-up notifications. Great. But during Do Not Disturb, it still shows me on my little bottom bar that I'm getting text messages.
Yeah.
And so I so want to check them, but my screen is on, so I can't.
No, I know there's a message
and
I
I'm
can't see.
I don't tell me I have text messages I'm missing when I can't check it. There's a Do Not Disturb for a reason. Anyway.
By the way, you want to look at that poll and weigh in? It's the poll of polls.
Speaking of foxes, today's word for Luxembourg for LangTime was fox. Aki.
Oh.
And I think it was Jonathan who pointed out that I think it was today's video that I had to do like 3 times and it still didn't come out right. Is the poll over, David?
I don't know.
We got 19 votes. I need to see. Jonathan says people are wrong. I need to see how wrong.
Let's go take a look. Looks like 0th won over the 0th.
Oh, it wasn't today's. Okay. Was it? It was the day where I had the nasal tilde and I kept reading it as a nya on the N, which followed it.
Mm-hmm.
And it kept being wrong. And then I couldn't stop.
Spilled over into others. Yeah.
It did.
A chilling vision of things to come.
My word. There was no practicing. David just sat down and said, we're recording.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just reading.
All right. I need to pull open High Valyrian, the font, to see how I did this. So I'm gonna.
You gonna blank your screen out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Patrick, I voted for 0th. That's right. Come chat with me. Jonathan re-recorded them all in one go. They're asking about the Luxembourg videos.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
It was one go. It was like one 15-minute span of my life. And so mistakes carried over very easily.
All right, so I did it. I did 1 0 and 1 0 0 to make 10 and 100 in this. So I will. I wanted to be sure that worked, and I guess it does. And window close. Oh, that's nice.
Patrick, you should really fly into either Santa Ana or Long Beach. Otherwise, the LA walk will be a lot more, a bit much. But yes, come find me and we can talk about Zeroth versus 0th.
Mm-hmm.
Zeroth.
And then
So David, the reason I had asked about the K problems was I was thinking of KA voiceless nasal, specifically velar, for fist, which would come out as ka. In part because we don't have any just kind of ka syllables yet, but also because it's like, you know, just the noise you might make if you fist.
You heard what I heard, I believe. Do we need to repeat what you just said?
Well, if you weren't listening the first time, you don't deserve it a second.
The noise you make when you... All right. Oh, that hurts. Oh, I must not have had enough water today.
Did you sit on your foot?
No, I had a Charlie horse as I was trying to move my leg. Oh, man. I could only manage one pull-up today. Stomach.
I'm gonna march you back upstairs. You're gonna complete your 15 pull-ups for me.
It was
16 now.
It was so painful. Started to do our exercises again, our nightly exercises, and
I know. I make David do awful things like work out. I think Mateus understands. You gotta make a guy work out for you so you can watch him do the pull-ups. Me, I just like hang on the bar, and that's as good as it gets. I can't manage to pull myself up. Thank you, Mateus. Yes, and thank you, Patrick. Yes. People are cheering me on here.
all right.
Oh no, Mateus, we work out together. So well, except the pull-ups, I just watch when he does pull-ups. But all the other workouts we do together. Well, except you don't get up with me for morning yoga.
Nope.
I do the morning yoga by myself.
Do we already have it like an M? I guess we kind of do. We have this. Ah!
What happened over there?
Nothing. Four is like that, huh? All right.
Patrick, we actually have a standalone pull-up bar, which is probably a good thing because I feel like our doorway would crumble if we attached a pull-up bar.
Oh yeah, I've had them before. Absolutely, do not ever recommend any pull-up bar that you put above your door frame. I don't care how much they say it doesn't damage your door. It does. Oh.
And ours in particular, I don't think could manage it. It actually, so Patrick, it lives like, if you imagine a door opening and that behind the door space between the door and the wall, that's where our pull-up bar lives. So like David needs to have the door closed to, do pull-ups. So it lives behind a door. Okay, David.
Yo.
The full form of fist is huh, with the nasal ah, right?
Come. Yeah, come.
Do you want that to reduce to just ka for 5?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's
Then we have huh.
super small.
We've got a number. Oh my goodness, I feel like we need to celebrate all over again.
I'd be down for that.
That means one of us has to go out. I'm still not done with my first celebration. I think Juno is trying to say it sounded like I was honking at you. Oh, David, this is looking great. I haven't been watching you play with the number shapes. I've just been like...
It's coming out.
Trying so hard to make one word to help you out.
Oh, that needs to go in more. Oh, actually, no, it does not. Because we can just do that. We can do that. And we can do that. And then we can move that over. There we go. Okay, that's 4. Oh, that is 5. Oops. Whoops. We haven't done 0 yet. Okay, and then we're doing the underlines for this one. Oh, no, wait. 5. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, what I did was 10. What I did was 10. So sorry. 5 is the overline. Very sorry for everybody who is confused and angry. You had every right. There we go. 5 is the overline. And now 6 is the underline. You've done something very unique here, Jess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that makes sense. I think we're gonna have to do something new for 6. I don't think this makes sense. Like, I don't think there's any way to make that work.
We can. Do you want to put on screen what you're talking about? Do you want to let me know I am wrong?
Well, this is what it looks like right now.
That should be. Yeah, that should be a new. Silly me. That's 2 more K entries. Okay. Okay. Now I'm ready.
That's too late.
Well, I needed 5 and 5th to actually be entered. I had just made an entry for 5th, but I forgot to add to it that it's also 5.
I think we're gonna actually dispense with the underline idea. How do I get this back to being what I want? There we go. Yeah, we're gonna do that.
That's why I gave you options.
And we're gonna make it, I think we're gonna make it the width of this, which is 700.
Oh, thank you, Jake.
Gosh, that's really short. Oh, that's too short. How is that 700? My. Do we have a? We do have a T. We do have a T. How long is that T? It is 1,000. That's what this one's going to be. 1,000. 1, 2. There we go. All right, there we go. Now we're just going to flip these.
Okay, so then I have an idea when you're ready.
Yeah. For what?
For like forming, if we don't want just basic roots to mean 6 through 10.
Okay. Let me make sure that I can flip these and have them be the right direction. So just go like that and like that. Yes. Yes. And then it's 8, and then this would be 9. There we go. Whew. Okay. Got it. All right, and so then we just need 0 and 100 to contend with, but before we do that, let's go to the actual language itself. Are you on a place?
On the number chart.
Okay.
So if we wanted to do something with the idea of the original images that I had drawn, 6 would effectively be saying there's, like you stack one more, right? Like you've got your pile going, you're gonna stack on top. And so it could literally be, because 1 is the object, the verb is stack. It could come from like stacking 1. And before they had any case marking, because this is, old. And so...
Kind of like udexon and cowdexon, but...
Yes, instead of taking away, it's adding.
Yeah. Just much
and
easier.
So, like for 1, uv is the number 1. Apa is the verb. And so uvapa could reduce to uvap or uva because it's,
Well, remember where the stress is going to be, so it'd be uvapa.
Oh, so vapa or some vapa or yeah.
Let's, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do uvapa. And then
way.
whatever happens with ga and may, we'll have to figure that out. So that's uvapa, gavapa, or something like that. May vapa. 9 might need to be something different.
9 will probably want to do something different, and I would think 5 we would want to, or 10 we would want to do something different because like those come from actual sources that go beyond just numbers. And so for that, I think it would be good to have something different than for 9 and 10. But 6 through 8 would be like this uvapa.
You can work with whatever the proto is for gut and may, and see what works. By the way, Danielle said of the vapa, it could evaporate. Let me look at something real quick. We do not have any palatals in this language.
I know.
So, okay, may, is it just M-A-I?
Probably. I'm looking at the G right now. Came from gua.
Ua?
G-U-A for...
Okay, so I recall when you have the triple vowel, right? The A's just conflate, and so then
the two similar ones conflate, yes.
And so it would just be copa.
With that E umlaut?
No.
Because the U would still be there? So U-A.
Wait. U-A becomes I thought it became O. U-A becomes So yeah, copa. You're right.
Gupa. Yes.
That's my bad. And then for A-I-A.
We have rules written in for this.
Yes, we do.
I wonder if this follows it. Okay.
VVV simplification. Triple sequence is simplified to double, whereby the first vowel drops out. And so it'll be ia, and it also becomes a. So yeah, it'll be just mepa, gapa. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And it just looks like a little system.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man, Bubba's gonna be kicking himself that he missed this.
We love you, Bubba.
We do. Okay, and so now for 0 and 100.
Stay grammar miles, bye. My foot fell asleep. I kind of want to stamp it around a little bit.
And so when you said you liked the idea of the dam for the 100, did you mean the simplified capital I that is currently unused in the system?
Yeah,
okay.
I think.
All right.
I think that's actually kind of perfect that we never actually used the most basic form.
Okay.
I like that.
Done. And now 0. So I'm going to put this back up on the screen. Just because I want everybody to see your little beaver again. All right, so we have this paw. This is right here. That's the hand in High Valyrian, that's what it looks like. It would probably end up going like that. This is a glyph that kind of already exists. And then we have to figure out V here. This one does not exist. It'd be like essentially the top of the X. So that's what we're going to be working with. We're going to sketch those out and see what looks the best.
I am going to say that the ordinal form, because our cardinal number 1 is 1, but then the ordinal first is based off a different root. Which is, I think, though. Yes, though means first. Would you imagine that for sixth would be just based on uvapa instead of though thoapa?
Are we talking about ordinals? I thought we've only done one ordinal.
We've done all the ordinals because we have a pattern.
What shoot, I guess I forgot about this.
Ordinals are normally the same. They just have a different adjective form. Or sorry, a different partitive form because they get an u in front of it. But we've got second, we've got third, fourth, and then I added fifth.
And so this is only relevant for 6.
Yeah, because it's built off of uv, which does not take the ordinal structure when it's 1, but when it's 6, will it?
I think so.
Okay.
What is the proto of though?
Of though? It's as a-u.
As a-u, and so it would simplify by getting rid of the first, so it would be the ba.
Only if... But we're not using it, right? We're using uv?
Right?
What? Sorry?
What I added into the table.
Oh, so you do want to use that form instead of the other?
I don't see a compelling reason not to.
It's just that I thought you said exactly the opposite of what you just did, so I was very confused.
I didn't try to say exactly the opposite, but it may have come out that way.
Yeah. Okay.
But like that makes sense, right? Because though means like top, right?
It means base.
Base. Oh, it means base.
Yeah.
Hang on a sec. Do we not have a word for top? I thought we did. What if, because 6 is the first one that you add on, right?
Yeah.
What if the ordinal was add to the top?
I mean, it would make sense.
I think we should do that. Just come up with a new word.
Okay. In which case I think I just added, yes, I just added one to the D. I need to take that away because now you're taking it back. You. Okay, and we're not going to have an ordinal there. Okay. to go ahead and do the entries though for 7 and 8 because those should be easier. And then we can come back, circle back.
Dang. Okay. 36. Let's do that. That was the wrong one anyway. Three, okay. What is? Oh God, that looks terrible.
Okay, so
That looks legitimately terrible. I think this has got to raise up to the.
2 more to that, and May we're about to add 2 more to that.
So that's 1,500. No, it's 16. No, wait, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. It is indeed 1,500. Okay. Okay. Next, and now that V. I'll figure that out. I'm gonna ditch that one. Okay.
8. Right. 7th and 8th. Because I should add 6.
Okay.
6. Ooh, just over here talking to myself, sorry. Not very interesting to listen to. Vapa is 6. 7. Was ba. That is also 7th, which is counted as an adjective. 8 is midba.
All right.
Oh, I'm getting bowled over by the stream of air here.
Goodness gracious. Let's at least put a 5 in here so we can see something different. These numbers are something. Oh.
Reminds me a bit of some of the Russian characters where it's like,
Sure does.
where you see letters, I should say, you see one after the other, and by Russian I mean Cyrillic.
Sure does.
And then suddenly you do it in cursive, and it's like literally all you see is a string of do-doot, 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 do-doots.
Yeah, yeah, Jake, I think, has nailed it. But oddly enough, what we're talking about is just the 0, which is the second character and third to last. Just want to see.
Well, I will say if we need something, well, the 0 is not going to show up in a string of numbers because it's going to be special, isn't it?
Yeah, but it might as well. I just thought we should show it in there anyway, but...
Well, no, I'm saying because that may affect your vote, where it's like,
Yeah.
if you wanted
0.
something visually different, you're going to vote one way, but knowing that it's not going to show up with all these numbers around it.
Yeah, it'll never show up like that. 0 is not a placeholder in the system. It's just something separate. But we're looking at the second glyph and then third to last. They're the same in every line.
Okay, and then we're ready to create a word for top, which we should do before the stream ends. Otherwise, we're going to probably forget what we were doing. And just something that can go with appa, appa, appa. I'll get the stress right one of these days. Probably get the stress right when we move on to another language that doesn't have final stress, and then I'm going to be putting the stress on the final syllable in that language.
Biblaridian, dear, why can't you see properly at the moment? Are you talking about yourself or something wrong with the stream?
I hope you're okay. Start doing final stress in cookie. That would be horrific. Those squirrels, they like their initial stress, doggone it. Even if I said it wrong when I...
Jesse, what's your favorite of these three?
I voted for the top.
All right. I think we'll end it there.
But it was because I like the original image, and so that narrowed it down to the top two for me. Yeah. From the top two, I felt like the squared offness better matched sort of the rest of the system. And again, knowing that it wouldn't show up in a string, I feel like it's not going to be as difficult. If it was going to be used in conjunction with other numbers, I totally would have gone for the middle shape just to make it look different.
All right, good to know. So that settles that. Now the question is, do we want to do anything with this? You know, in Castathan, when I had this issue, I made it so that like the... Yeah, I don't even remember, I'll be honest. I think Castathan I kept it, and then in Erathian I fixed him up. Are
you talking about the numbers? You don't like how it...
I mean... The option then is to do something different with 4. That's really the only option. I do have a slight idea.
Oh no, Bib. Oh goodness, Bib's got a migraine. And so there's like a bright spot in the middle of his vision.
My goodness. I'm so sorry.
That really, really stings. Okay, David.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like for top, il or is better? And we would get ilapa, isapa. Or any other consonant too. I don't want to make it sound like it has to be one of those.
Il.
Okay.
Let me make sure. Yeah, 200. Good. And that was 300. Okay, I see. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. And then All right. I want to start out by saying I am open to keeping the system as is. Because I don't think it is actually a disaster, but I want to offer an alternative.
Okay. And then I have a question for you in a moment.
And then, of course, we have to fix this. Oh God, it looks unbalanced. It looks unbalanced. 200, 400, 200, 1100, 1200. It is unbalanced. That was the problem. Quite a thing when something looks unbalanced because it is unbalanced. Now this one. All right, this is it. This is going to be the last thing we do this season. All right, Jess.
Okay, what is...
Top numbers are the original numbers. Bottom numbers are the slightly adjusted ones, where
Oh, yeah.
it's essentially pi. Now what you have is this one compared to this one. And then also this one compared to that one. That could potentially be confused for one another. Definitely want to hear everybody's thoughts. Which number system do you like better? Top, bottom. And again, top is the original system. Bottom is where I've modified the numbers for 4, 5, and 9.
What was the number for 10 then?
10 remains unchanged. It's at the end.
Okay.
Actually, let me...
Because then 100 is before the 10 in that case, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Gotcha. Oy. Okay.
Might actually do one more tiny little baby thing. There seems to be a strong preference for the bottom. And now I'm going to do the super last thing. Assuming that we are going with the bottom. Now, which one do you like better for the number 10? Danielle has just said, how appropriate that there is sawing accompanying the finale of Beavers. And honestly, that makes me feel so happy about it.
Yes.
I like it. So what I did with this one, this is just to throw it out with the bottom. The top is, of course, the original number 10, where it was just the whole thing was blocked off. Since that since the thing that's blocked off doesn't exist anymore, I did an alternate version of 10 for the bottom, where it is based instead on the actual previous number rather than what it used to be.
David, the umlauted I represents the high front back unrounded, right?
Yes.
I said high front back. High back unrounded.
High back unrounded, yeah. Yeah.
Sixth is all sorts of odd. Because not only is it not based on, like the number 6, it's got a different root, so it becomes ilepa. But when you need it in the partitive, it not only changes that final vowel to O, but now that front vowel is no longer ilepa, it's ilepa, ilepo.
Why is that?
Because a U gets added to the front of our ordinal numbers anyway.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And so, at least that's based on what I could tell. I think all of our other numbers, though, started with a consonant, so I don't know if it's supposed to be something different. If you could let me know if that's supposed to be different. There's an U added to the front of our ordinal numbers.
Yeah.
I don't know where it comes from. And all of our other numbers start with consonants. So it just shows up as udo, uth,
I'll take a look, but I want you to look at the screen and ask me if you feel okay with 10 essentially looking like Roman numeral 2 and 100 looking like Roman numeral 1.
I had just voted based on my feeling for how the system was going, and so I voted for the bottom.
All right.
Now that you say that seems a little wonky.
It seems quirky.
But what are our beavers if not a little quirky?
Yep. All right, then. Then that puts a bow on this season, I think.
Well, as soon as you figure out where that ooh comes from and whether I need to
Anybody
add a
remember?
consonant.
Anybody
and
remember?
It's only if you look up the example, the beaver is carrying the third frog.
Looks like it with
comes up as umi.
Looks like with other adjectives that begin with a vowel, it's V.
I should be looking up adjectives, not the other numbers. David, don't act like you're so much.
However, yeah, that's yeah.
Okay, so this may be vilapo then. Vilapo?
Yeah, it looks like it because it becomes V in front of a vowel unless it's a rounded vowel, in which case it becomes a W, which makes me believe that it was a proto-V.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I needed to know then.
All right. Let me get these old 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, cool.
And then we'll make those yellow. And now,
so that takes us all the way to 9 and 10, which unless we get, hey Alice, unless we get to those forms right now in the next 3 minutes, we're not getting there.
Yeah.
In this season. I will say, because I did have some announcements.
All right.
Announcement number 1 is that next week we may or may not have an interesting stream with someone extra. We don't know yet.
Right.
We don't know yet. We may or may not have a guest. And if we don't, so sad for you. We will still have a guest just later that day if they're not here during the stream. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's little announcement 1. That may or may not be an announcement. Announcement 2, if you are a patron, and if you are, I know, look at all the patrons now, all the people in the comments being like, ooh, am I the special guest? I bet that's what you're asking yourself. You're trying to remember, did I schedule a trip to visit them? Patrick did, because we got to talk about Zeroth. But, okay, announcement number 2. If you're a patron and if you're interested in participating in our little mini relay of the month, I need to know ASAP. Spots are filling up. I could fit in some more people, though, and so I just need to know if you're interested. And so, yeah, if you are, get on Discord, send me a message, and we'll talk about your schedule and availability, although, quite frankly, it'd be easier if you just told me up front, like, hey, here's my availability for the month. It is a mini relay, so it is much smaller. It's very informal, so everything is just coming back through me, and I'm kind of lining up people as they send me messages to want to participate, so it's all very informal. And if you want to know more about it, then you should really listen to this month's podcast, or at least look at the attached PDFs, and you may be able to figure out what went on in the podcast. And so, yeah, this is all to drum up excitement for what will be a full relay starting in the new year with Let's Have a Booba. And so very excited about that. And it's also just a fun little mini challenge because we had some mini challenges in the last few months and people were a little sad that they weren't going to be here this month. And so we created one. Jonathan, so far we have 8 participants plus me. So like I'm, starter and whatnot. And Mateus, send me a message on Discord. And so that way I can officially add you to the list. And so, yeah. And since a linguist, that is unfortunate. Just remember that as an informal relay and as a smaller text, you just need enough grammar to get through the text. And it is, unless something goes very astray in upcoming translations, it's a short text. So unless somebody adds to it, it'll be short. And we only need enough grammar write-up for what's actually in the text. We don't need a full grammar. So, there's things like that to consider if you're worried about, having enough of your language.
In case anybody's curious what I'm doing cleanup. Getting rid of the extra characters. I'm going to keep these in red because I still may replace those characters that this has to do with. But basically it's just dumping all of the little glyphs we were using, the ones we made along the way that didn't quite make it. We're keeping them in the font. They're in some place where you will never get them, but we're not getting rid of them just in case. I also need to go through and make sure I didn't delete any things. Yep, a few of them for little characters that are used, and we can just go paste things in over here even though they'll be redirected to other glyphs. But anyway, the font is not done yet. Of course, the big thing that needs to happen is the whole thing needs to be kern. You'll notice that I was artificially putting spaces in here just so that you could see it. Obviously, right. It needs to be kerned so that it looks nice when you type it, but that part is really, really, really tedious. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on my own. You've seen the creative part, and I've shown you before in streams what it means to kern something. Yeah. So like the work that goes into it. So at least you can go to a previous stream and see how that works.
Yeah.
Anyway, but wow, season 6. Season 6.
Wow.
Man, we're gonna need to really think about how we're moving forward. Probably do a little half season.
Well, definitely, because we don't want to start the next season until the new year, until after the new year, especially since so many of us are incredibly busy during this month and the leading into the new year. And so we don't want anyone who needs to miss a stream to feel like, they're missing out. We don't want you to choose between, family and friend obligations and LangTime. So we'll do something a little different, but we will still be here on Thursdays. And so, yeah, we'll figure that out as we go. And I also want to say, Patrick, I actually, for this relay, used Wojciech, which is the same language I'm using for Luxembourg, which I'm literally in the process of trying to flesh out, and I'm changing things as I go, changing things like prefixes from one day to the next. And so, like, things are in flux. We just need a description as it is now if you do participate in the relay. That's not to nail you down to say it has to stay that way forever, because it definitely does not have to stay that way forever. Languages are always changing, and they're very fluid, and so go with it. I almost made a joke, but we'll get there later. Have some fun. Please don't hold back from participating because of it, because it's still a lot of fun, especially if you've never done one. This is a great way to sort of dip your toes in, just very briefly. All right. So hopefully you all have a wonderful day, wonderful week, and we look forward to seeing you next Thursday for some in-between season with or without a special guest. Just like the beaver.
Yep.
Don't know. All right. Stay grammar, everyone.
Bye, everybody.